Guys, Mike here, head trader at True Trading Group. April 1st, I recently sent out a poll asking the YouTube audience and community what technical lesson you would like me to cover in my next video. The reason why I did that was because I was unable to trade today. I was traveling today while markets were open. I had a destination wedding over the weekend that I was attending, so it was a travel day for me today. I am now back home and making this video, and that's why I sent out that poll on Friday just asking what technical lesson would you like me to cover in my next video. And option number 1 was the TTG triangle. Option number 2 was a Tradeline VWAP crossover. Option number 3 was a double bottom gap up. And option number 4 was how to manage risk after adding. Well, the YouTube community has responded with a few hundred votes. Thank you for those that participated in the vote. And the winner is the Tradeline VWAP crossover. It was very close with the Tradeline VWAP crossover and how to manage risk after adding. But the Tradeline VWAP cross reigned victorious on that vote. So that's the video, that's the lesson I'm going to cover with you today. Before I get into the lesson, tomorrow's TGD Tuesday. I open the chat room up free for everyone. Okay, so make sure that you come in, chat with me tomorrow, watch me live, hear my analysis in real time, see what I'm trading, what the other TGD mods are trading in real time with trade alerts. Feel free to ask us questions. Please don't be shy. I encourage the participation and to, come and chat, enjoy the day, and see what the TGD fam is all about and the level of education that we provide throughout the day. It's not just like, hey, try to shadow me. I really go into in depth on what I'm looking at, why I'm looking at it, what I plan on doing if the stock does this, when I enter, when I'm taking profits, when I exit, and my analysis all the way through the trade while I'm in it, all the way until I'm completely out. You'll hear my analysis and exactly what's going through my thought process and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. So I encourage and I invite you all to come in and join me. Just to sign up, again, it's 100% free. Go to www.truetradinggroup.com. Upper right-hand corner, you'll see it'll say TGD Tuesday. Click there, register. You will get a link that will give you access to the chat room for free. Okay, so again, that's tomorrow, TG Tuesday. Go to the site, sign up, register. You'll get a link, and you can come join me and the rest of the gang. Okay, so now to get into the day, although I was not in chat trading today, the TGD members were left in really good hands with Jason, who is the one of the other TGD moderators that is in chat, that is also on the mic going through his analysis and his trades throughout the day. And we also have many other moderators in there. And two particular today, Chris Toner and Alex Campbell had tremendous days. Chris nailed a 100% gain in an option play, and Alex crushed this PULM small cap trade for a 48% gain on that. So just really nice days for the rest of the TGG fam. A lot of people capitalized on this. PULM was a thing of beauty. And it's kind of ironic because the winning topic for the technical lesson that you guys wanted me to cover was the Tradeline VWAP crossover. And it just so happens that that is exactly what triggered this PULM move today. Unfortunately, I was not able to trade this. I'm sure I would have been in this. This is a fantastic setup. I'm going to walk you through the setup, and we're going to go over the Tradeline VWAP crossover. Okay? Before I start the lesson, it is important that you understand what the trade line is. Okay? The trade line for me is the 9 EMA. Okay, the 9 exponential moving average. Other traders use the 8. Some traders use the 10, 11, 12, even 13. I use the 9. It really comes down to personal preference. Okay, I prefer the 9. The yellow line you see on my screen right now, that is my 9 EMA. The orange line you see on my screen right now is my VWAP. The other important thing that I need to go over with you is I do not include pre-market data in my trade line or my VWAP. If you do, yours will be different than mine. Okay? The reason why I do not include pre-market data in my VWAP or my EMA is because they are lag indicators. Okay? And the data okay, that calculates VWAP and calculates the trade line is based on previous data. So the more previous data you add to this indicator, okay, the more that indicator is going to start to get flattened out or is going to start to be skewed a little bit. I do not care necessarily to have pre-market volume affect my intraday indicators, because when pre-market trading is happening, it is a mere fraction of the true volume that is going to be coming into that stock once the market opens up. Once all players involved in PULM or any stock for that reason can participate, because you may have a player or two players or 5 or 10 or 20 or 100 that are not participating pre-market, that will drastically affect the price movement of that stock. How many times have you guys seen a stock that was super strong pre-market, just keeps going and going pre-market, and everyone's getting excited, everybody gets excited, the bell rings, everybody jumps in because of that FOMO, and the stock gets absolutely crushed. That's one of the reasons why I do not trade off the opening bell. Okay, I do not chase momentum. I trade patterns, I trade setups. Okay, and that is really why I do not include my pre-market data, okay, is because I do not care as much about the pre-market data and the pre-market volume to affect my VWAP and my trade line. If you do include that, okay, this entire lesson is going to go out the window for you. So I have to start and preface with those things as I get into this video and I get into this lesson about the trade line VWAP crossover, okay? The other thing that I want to point out to you is that the trade line is a momentum indicator. It only works when a stock is making a clear, clean, and decisive directional move. Okay? The trade line will act as support when a stock is making a clear move higher, and a trade line can act as resistance when a stock is making a clear move lower. The trade line will do absolutely nothing for you during moments of consolidation. Okay? And I'm going to get into that in a second. So it's important that you understand when you can use the trade line as an indicator and a catalyst to help you stay in winning trades longer. That is really the premise behind the trade line VWAP crossover. It really will help you stay in winning trades longer. Okay? It will also help you, try to time breakouts, because a lot of times the trade line VWAP crossover triggers a breakout, and then after that breakout, the trade line holds support. Okay, that's what the trade line VWAP crossover is all about. Once the trade line crosses over and above VWAP, okay, for the first time during the day, you look for a trigger breakout, an increase in volume, and a sharp move higher. If you get those two things, once the trade line crosses over VWAP, the idea is to look for the trade line to now act as an area of support. Understand, every time that a stock extends away from the trade line, I teach our members to take some off the table, take some profit, because the stock is always going to have a tendency to pull back in towards that trade line and test that trade line. Okay? So let's get to this PULM. Let's pan this over. Okay? And you can see right off the bat, the stock gaps up, opens up, and surges right off the opening bell. Real nice, strong push right off the opening bell. Okay? On really nice, strong, steady, increasing volume. I love that. Higher volume, higher volume, higher volume as the stock pushes, pushes, pushes. Okay? Then you see we finally get our pullback, and a high of the day is established. Okay? Here's your high of the day, because we got a nice, clean pullback. Now what I want you to recognize is the volume that came in during the pullback. Okay? Night and day. Okay? Volume on the way up during the surge. Moment of consolidation, here's your lower volume. Okay, now as I zoom this in so we can get a better look here of the trade, again, the trade line is this yellow line, VWAP is this orange line. Okay, you can see we pull ourselves in and we start to find support right here in VWAP, and you can see the trade line and VWAP are getting very, very close. They're getting tight. I love to see stocks that right off the bell, they surge higher. Okay, VWAP's going to rush up there first. The trade line is going to lag behind it. And then when you get a pull-in down into that VWAP, look for a VWAP to hold the stock up. Okay? Look for VWAP to just hold the stock up. And the concept is you want to see VWAP hold support long enough to give the trade line, which is rushing up underneath it, enough time to catch up. And then once the trade line catches up to VWAP and crosses over it, that's when you get your triggering, your breakout trigger. It's exactly what happened in PULM. Okay, high volume surge on the way up, low volume pullback into VWAP support, and then you can see VWAP steps in here, hold support, hold support, hold support, long enough for the trade line to cross over and above VWAP. And once you got that pattern, you can see a huge volume surge takes us right through the previous high. That is the triggering move that you like to see. Okay? When you get a trade line VWAP crossover like this, and immediately following that cross, you get a huge surge in price and a huge surge in volume, that is your key to know it is now time to look for that trade line to act as support now that it has crossed over and above VWAP. Then as I pan this over, look at what starts to happen. Okay, we break through, we surge. Look where we found support. Trade line. Look where we find support. Trade line. And the stock continues to surge its way higher. Okay, so after you get the trade line and VWAP crossover, this pattern is not only meant to help you identify a triggering breakout, okay, and help you enter this trade during the consolidation in anticipation for that trade line crossing over, okay. You can even maybe enter a tier 1 in the consolidation if you want to play it safe. Once you get the crossover, you can add tier 2, okay, up into this break. And then you use this trade line as your stop loss, okay. And understand, it's not going to be it's not always going to be right to the penny, okay. It might not always hold support right to the penny. Again, that's going to determine a lot if you're using the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 EMA as your trade line, okay. But so it's going to be kind of an area. Like I said, I use the 9. So you can see here on this pattern, we tailed through it a little bit. You can see we kind of tailed through that trade line briefly, momentarily for seconds, and the trade line just picked it back up and shot this stock right back up through highs. Okay, so every time the stock extends away from the trade line, you want to be taking profits off the table, right? We went over that earlier. So let's say you got involved here during this moment of consolidation. Then bang, you get the trade line VWAP crossover. Stock shoots away from that trade line. Shoots away from that trade line. You're going to want to, wrong tool. You're going to want to take some profit off as you push away from that trade line. Why? Because the stock's going to have a tendency always to pull back down to the trade line. Then boom, we push up and away from that trade line again. You can take some more profit off the table. Why? Because the stock's always going to have a tendency to pull back in and test that trade line like it did here. Boom! Then we explode again and we surge away from that trade line. You're going to want to take some profits again as you push away from that trade line. Why? Because it's always going to have a tendency to pull back in to the trade line. Okay? Now, I want you to notice how clean that trade line was. Okay? How clean that trade line was while the stock was making a very clear, definitive, decisive move higher. Trade line is a momentum indicator. It is only to be used while a stock is moving in one clear direction. It's a momentum indicator. Okay? This is supposed to help you stay in a winning trade longer by using that trade line to hold on to a piece of your position. As I pan this over, I want you to notice while PULM was consolidating and was not making a clear, definitive move in one direction, look at how the stock just trades right through it like it's not even there. Okay? You can see, oh, we broke below it, we got back above it, we broke below it, back above it, below it, above it, below it, above it, below it, above it, below it, above it. Has no influence whatsoever in the movement of this stock. You should not be using this trade line during a moment of consolidation. This is a breakout triggering indicator. that is supposed to follow the momentum of the stock and help you stay in a winning trade longer. Okay, I want to take you guys to Alex's trade announcements from today. Here's our trade announcements on the day. Okay, and I'm sorry, oh guys, I'm sorry. I had a couple people that commented in chat about trying to make this background like darker because it's so damn bright on your eyes. I know a lot of you probably watch these videos at night, maybe when you're laying in bed, and it's kind of like probably kind of kills you. So I forgot to change this for those of you that commented in chat in the comments. I'm sorry. I will change this. But here you guys can see at 9:36, Alex long at $1.45. His take profits at 149, 180, and then 216 for a 48% gain. Just a monster trade. Okay, just a monster trade. Okay, and using this trade line, Alex was able to stay in this trade line and ride this trade line. Okay, and use that as a support indicator to help stay in that trade longer and really pull the most out of that move, okay, as he was comfortable doing. Okay, and that's what the trade line VWAP crossover is all about. It's one of the patterns that I teach. Okay, it's one of the patterns that I look for every day. It's a trigger. Okay, now this is not going to work every single time, guys. There is no pattern or indicator or setup or anything that's going to work 100% of the time. Okay, but when you see this trade line VWAP crossover, you use other things to help you. Okay, to help you gauge the setup, to help you decide, is this the pattern I'm pulling the trigger on? Okay, because just a trade line VWAP crossover sometimes may not be enough. That's why I pointed out to you strong surging volume on the way higher, slower decreasing volume during the consolidation, VWAP holding support. Then you get the trade line VWAP crossover, and then it's on. Okay, and then you can use that trade line as an area of support. Okay, maybe set a trailing stop for some of you. Some people like to use trailing stops. You can set a trailing stop, okay, that you can try to ride that trade line, okay, as the stock surges. And every time it pushes, don't forget, every time it pushes off away from that trade line, take some off the table, because you're going to have a tendency to pull itself back in. Okay, then it finds support, goes again, take more off the table, because it's going to have a tendency to come back into that trade line. You can see it again right here. Okay, we pushed off, take some, pulled back in, okay, found support, pushed off, take some, pulled back in, found support, pushed off, get flat. I sell in 3 tiers. Okay, so again, I was not trading today. I was traveling, so I did not trade this. Okay, but that would have been like the perfect ideal way to trade this stock today. It would have been long, okay, in here inside this consolidation. Trade line VWAP crossover happens right there. Stock surges to new highs. Take 25% of the position off. Hold on to the rest. Trade line hold support. Pushes to new highs. Sell the bulk of the position, so 50% of the position. Pulls in. Trade line support. Stock shoots to new highs. Get flat that last 25% of the position. That would have been the absolute perfect ideal way to have traded this trade line VWAP crossover on PULM. Okay, so I hope this video helps you guys understand the trade line VWAP crossover a little bit more. I covered this. This pattern actually has its own chapter in the advanced course section that is available to the TGG members on our website. So again, guys, I said this is a pattern that I look for every day. It's a pattern I teach all of our members to focus on. It's a very high percentage pattern. And really what I like about it is that it helps you stay in winning trades longer, because a lot of traders struggle with that. Okay, and this could be something that can help you. Just remember, I do not use pre-market data, and you should only use the trade line when a stock is making a clear move. This exact thing holds true to the opposite way. If you are short a stock, okay, this same pattern applies, but only instead of VWAP crossing above and over VWAP, you'll see the trade line cross below and under VWAP and act as resistance going down, versus in this case crossing up and above VWAP and act as support going up. So the same exact thing applies, just the opposite way if you are looking to get short. This is a pattern I use a lot in my shorts, and it really helps me stay in that winning trade longer as well. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's a trade line VWAP crossover. For those of you that were asking for it, I hope you enjoyed this video. Quick check in on SMAR, my swing trade short. Okay, I am still short some of this. If you just go back to my last video, I covered the bulk of the position. Okay, I shorted this on this day right here at 43.94, and I covered the bulk of the position right there at 39.35 on Friday, and I'm still holding on to a piece of this position, and my final take profit target is going to be somewhere probably right around this 50-day moving average, which also kind of lines up with some of this little previous structure back here. I'm looking for like 30, 37, maybe 36 bucks a share. If I can get down to maybe, I'd say probably by 37, I'll probably be covering the rest of this position. This is a swing trade. Just figured I'd give you guys a quick little update because I still do have a piece of that position from the other week. Okay, so that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and sign up for TG Tuesday. I will see you guys in chat tomorrow. Take care.